Hello, I'm Matt, and welcome to the main event of the night.
And I'm Paulo, and we are here at NURS Nation.
We pride ourselves on giving you the most updated handover report.
We have a couple of new nurses looking to make their mark, but they are going to have to progress through Ducher's stages of transition.
Oh, hey, Kayla, how's it going? Have a seat.
Oh, hey, it's going good. I feel like I haven't seen you since our new grad year.
Yeah, are you still working on that medical floor?
Yeah, I am. You went to surgical, right?
Yeah, we should totally catch up. Let me just go get a refill of my coffee first, okay?
Okay.
You've now met the stars of the show, situated more than a year out of their transition. These folks were so eager to be part of the team and prove themselves.
That's right. The first stage of Ducher's work, doing, exists for the first 3 or 4 months. Full of idealized thought, these new nurses focus on tasks. And why? Well, because they pretend like they know what they're doing.
Yep. Oh, okay. Looks like we've got some legacy footage from previous coverage. Let's see how they handled a rough start to their new grad season.
Good morning. Thanks for coming in, Kate. Okay, we've had a lot of sick calls today. So we've got 20 patients on the floor. I'm going to have to give you guys each 6 patients today.
I thought as a new grad we weren't supposed to have more than 4.
You're right. I apologize, but unfortunately we're at baseline, so I'm going to have to ask you to do that. I'm here for charge, but I can also take time to help you out with some skills if you need it. Let's get our breaks in, and we'll do the best we can today, okay?
Okay.
Those first few months are exhausting, aren't they?
They sure are. Did you see how success in academia does not always transfer to the workplace? I heard those nurses did really well in school, but as we know, academia does not equal success in practice. They're 2 distinct entities.
Do you know what this is? Transition shock. I've been waiting for this part. Our stars are suffering from a strain in their very being.
And it isn't just feeling tired, these new nurses are emotionally exhausted. They lack the energy to hang out with their friends, participate in their favorite hobbies. It seems like there's just nothing in the tank for self-care. So the first 2 to 8 weeks of their new position, now that is the secret sauce to our production ratings.
Let's go see if we can find some more of that juicy content.
Hey, Kate. Did you get your break yet?
Not yet.
No? Okay. How can I help you to get your break?
It's okay. I just have some charting to do before I go.
You got all your stuff done?
Yeah, just my charting.
Okay, well let me know if I can help you, okay?
Sounds good.
Did she get her break in? It looked like she was getting ready, but I never did see her go.
Man, you gotta get that recovery time in. Get a breather and just back out for the next shift. The world of the new grad is flipped upside down. These new nurses would love it if their working environment provided a bit more of a consistent situation with a predictable workload and having management that limits inclusion of unstable patients. Isn't that right?
Too many patients, too heavy for workload, and not enough breaks. This is a real recipe for disaster. According to transition shock theory, the transition from school to work is hard. New nurses can feel isolated, anxious, feel there's no hope. But this can be lessened with mentorship and programs that target the effects of the pandemic.
The work of Ducher is comprehensive, but there are other theorists that are also noteworthy. Have a look at Kramer, for instance. Nurses have been feeling in shock for many decades while feeling inadequate.
Too right you are. You also have Benner, who focuses on different stages of skill acquisition. New grads here are described as advanced beginners, where they lack the experience to respond to cues, but they're further along than the novice, who lacks experience altogether.
Let's not forget that Ducher's doing, which is stage 1, it consists of new nurses that cannot see beyond the task. They fear judgment and they feel inadequate if they don't see every detail. they get stuck comparing themselves to the veterans on the team.
Actually, I wanted to ask you, when did you kind of feel like you got your sea legs, like kind of got a hold of the whole new grad thing?
You remember that one shift where we had 6 patients each? Mm-hmm. Karl like invited us out for coffee after.
So, that was a tough shift, eh?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Overwhelmed and a little stressed out.
I feel like you're drowning.
100%.
Yeah, that's normal. You know, especially in this first few months of starting off in nursing, that happens to everybody.
I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay. You know a lot, more than you realize. So yeah, I think a big piece of it is just making sure that you're asking for help when you need it. And don't suffer in silence and don't suffer by yourself. Reach out. People like myself, there's people around there willing to help.
So tonight we have a special guest from the front line. Let's give a warm welcome to our trusty mentor, Karl.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. I'm a big fan.
What a busy transition for our new nurses. Tell us about what mentorship means for them.
You know, guys, a big part of this job is learning your limits, asking and accepting of help when you need it. Preceptorship is key, but it has to be the right kind.
What does the literature say about mentorship?
Well, Paulo, the literature says that we have to integrate transition programs into our system. They're cost effective and they build resiliency in our new grads.
Yes, they do. They need support.
The literature shows that the new grads need to have an active role in figuring out what they need in their transition. They cannot remain static and let experiences come to them. The orientation doesn't last forever. To situate themselves in the profession, new grads have to internalize expectations. Remember that nursing is a calling that requires flexibility to adapt.
So, Karl, where would we situate our new nurse you had coffee with in the continuum of the transition theory?
Well, there's several Hall of Fame theorists out there that worked on the subject of transitions of new nurses. Back in '74, Kramer first described culture shock as happening over 4 stages. Within this theory, we can characterize our new nurses as somewhere between the shock and rejection phase, where a new nurse will not feel ready and often rejected, and recovery phase, where belonging is a new feeling that is experienced.
That makes sense. I know Oberg has a culture shock theory. How does that fit?
Well, as you probably witnessed, this happens quite quickly for new grads. It's often stated as the most difficult part of the transition. New nurses have to try to seamlessly integrate theory with the demands of their practice. I often hear that new nurses feel surprised.
What do you mean by surprised? Shouldn't their education explain everything?
Well, that would be ideal, Paolo. But new grads saying they're surprised says we are still lacking in the precept preparedness piece. We need to collectively team up and make this transition experience much smoother.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you, Karl.
See you again.
Thanks, guys.
That's Karl, folks.
Hey, Karl.
Yeah.
I noticed Mr. Jones in 220, he's getting discharged, but he told me he doesn't have an access to a pharmacy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a big barrier.
Uh-huh.
Good catch.
Did that new nurse just spread her wings? She isn't overwhelmed. She is getting a solid foundation and anticipating barriers.
It looks like she's well on her way to completing stage 2 of Dutra's framework of being.
And according to Dutra, stage 2 represents thinking about professional identity, really thinking about all those challenges that have been building up.
Not to mention, most of our new nurses' energy has been focused on tasks. We see a shift to thinking about the why, trying to define real work-life balance. It's starting. This stage happens at the 4 to 5 month mark, with something key happening at the 5 to 7 month mark. Isn't that right?
That's very right. At the 5 to 7 month mark, our nurses are on a path called the crisis of confidence. Here, new nurses have to reconcile with the struggles of nursing, the workload, the professional demands, that insidious creep of work into life. Look, if the crisis gets resolved, then nursing doesn't seem as difficult.
It almost seems like our new nurse has her sea legs, feeling more confident in her role and seeking out camaraderie to discuss her concerns over coffee.
A little after that, I actually left nursing altogether. I didn't really feel like it was for me.
Oh, wow. You always seemed like you had it all put together.
I feel like I was so afraid of being seen as dumb or incompetent, didn't know what I was doing, that I really tried to make it look like You know, I had it all together, I knew what I was doing, but the amount of hours that I spent crying in the supply room, in the bathroom, in my car, really like any room, it was just all too much for me, honestly. I just never really got a hang of it. Are you still working at that hospital?
Yeah, I'm actually still loving it. Like, I can't imagine myself doing anything else, and I'm actually training to be charged right now.
According to stage 3 of Ducher's theory, progression through transition requires prompt resolution of those barriers. If we look back, it just seemed that the new grad was left overwhelmed. She probably felt disenfranchised, and she might have left just to seek out new non-nursing options. Stage 3 is supposed to be about knowing a clear progression of big picture thinking, where the new nurse is feeling more rooted in their profession.
That isn't to say the new nurse doesn't have any issues with the situation. Even with great strides, a new nurse can have many critiques linked to feeling less power in the profession. And for all those new nurses out there, it really is critical that a structured approach be present to deal with the challenges of their transition. Understand you need to bridge theory with practice, which is what we call praxis. Be prepared for transition shock and navigate through your first year with a little less anxiety, knowing you have found a trustworthy mentor, and hopefully you're using what you have learned in your transition program.
Looks like we've run out of time, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Paulo. Stay tuned for our next episode. And we are
New Nurse Nation!